Good morning, everybody, and this is your Forex day trade setups for today. So as usual, starting off with Euro USD, we haven't really done much yesterday, and it does look like we're testing the lows of last week at the moment. So I'm still of the opinion we need to be bouncing off resistance, and we haven't bounced off resistance. So I've got some downside targets that's still in play, and that's 117.500. It's 117.250. And 117 dead. So those are the targets to the downside at the moment, but obviously for us to get in on that, we need some kind of a retest of structure. And look at this, for 2 days it has been sideways and looking to be sideways again, so we are testing this level here. So I'm kind of sit on hands on this pair at the moment. I do want to see it hit a target, bounce up, find resistance, and if it gets through where this area where we are now, which is 117.634, if we can get through that and come back and test it, that would be a great area to look for a short with a stop above the current high of today. So that's kind of my view at the moment, but I think that more sit on hands for me at the moment. US dollar, Japanese yen, strong trend to the upside. We did get a little bit of a pullback onto structure, great buying opportunity, and then we shot away again. So as I pointed out yesterday, 109.380 was an area to buy into, and that's exactly what we got. Came down onto structure, buyer stepped in, and you had a fairly decent run. I'd probably be getting out of that now if I was in. So that was a 108 point or 200 point stop loss for 560 point gain. So 2-to-1. More than 2-to-1 trade. That was a beautiful setup there. For me at the moment, I want to see structure. So I want to see pullbacks onto structure. Next bit of structure is pretty obvious right here on the previous, that was Friday's high. So pretty much similar setup to the indexes at the moment. So 109.844 is the area to look at for an opportunity to buy into this. Bear in mind we have a bit of a gap here as well. So it could just drop a little bit lower, and there is structure there. So that's the next level, 109.788. That does wipe out all the gains of yesterday though. So just I think be cautious of this at the moment. Don't want to be long here, I want to be long off structure. British pound, Japanese yen, we did have a bit of a flag on the lower time frames, but then we got a rejection bar. I'm kind of very cautious with this at the moment. We've got a gap to the downside, and we've got we've got one gap here and we've got one gap here. So there are two big gaps to the downside. So at the moment, look at the oscillators as well. They're not looking very exciting, and off to the long side anyway. So this is really looking confused. So you can see there was my flag break, looked like a flag retest, does still look like a flag retest. But what we're looking for price to regain some structure, and 151.426 is structure that I would like to see us regain. But that is sideways, so sideways at the moment. I'm staying out of that one. Aussie dollar, US dollar, been on a downward trend for some time now, and we sort of got range bars at the moment. So those range bars are indicating we have some indecision sitting in this area, and I gave you these levels yesterday at 0.76.600 and 0.76233. So that seems to be where price is. Look at the oscillators at the moment. Remember, when they cross over, when they are far apart, that's normally a pretty strong move in the opposite direction of what's happening right now. So if they cross, one of them crosses high and the other one low, it's coming down, and obviously the converse is true if we got it from the bottom. I don't see any examples of this one, and I'm always looking for examples of this structure, because it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's normally quite explosive. So if we just come to the hour, and you'll see pretty much sideways, we've got some structure building for a move to the upside. But when we're up and down like this in the structure, I typically don't like paying much attention to it, because the higher time frame is going to be the overriding structure to follow. So this is the first area that we have rejected, which is 0.76600. but there is another little area to pay attention to, and that's right there. So that is a bit of a gap there. So you can see that tail was the low of that bar, and then we broke through. We haven't come back to test that breakout. Okay, so that is an area which would offer some interest for me as well. But the 155 EMA is also playing a major role here. So we do have a golden cross here on the 33 and the 66 pointing to the upside. But when you start, if I just go to the 3 hour and wait for the data. Okay, so if you come to the 3 hour, you'll see converse is true. Oscillators up the upside, moving averages, prices below the moving averages at the moment. And look at that one, big up, big down, big confusion. And then that was going into, well, early in the session yesterday. And then look at this pin bar, it's forming off structure again. So yeah, I think for me, this is really looking like a short opportunity to continue this trend. But I think it's going to be off 076 to 076726. I think that's the area to be watching. So if you can actually come down to a 15-minute chart on that level, and then you see the rejection like that, when the next bar being red, your entry is right below that, stop above there, and that would have already been an entry. But there will be another one during the day, so just watch for that at the moment. Euro, British pound, it does look like it's a struggle, and I think, I've pointed this out a couple of times. If we get onto the weekly, you can see a whole lot of support here on the weekly chart. You can see this zone here has been an area where the buyers have stepped in quite often. So the bears are trying to drive through it. The buyers are looking to come into this, but there's no real, it's been sideways for quite a few years. So for me at the moment, I think this is pretty much being very careful. It is sideways at the moment, so there's no real structure. And yesterday you can see big down, big up. That gives us a daily pin bar. Okay, there it is there, daily pin bar and green. There's another daily pin bar. So the trend is down on the daily, you can see that, that's pretty clear, but we're on structure with pin bars happening. There are buyers here. So for me, any trade I want to be looking for is a trade to the upside. And at this stage, it's going to be a break and retest of this area here. So 085528. Break, retest, I'm long, and I'm long for the first area here, which is 085831. And then finally, British pound, New Zealand dollar, a big down day, a very confusing day yesterday. So we had all this indecision on last week, and then we sort of had breakout, indecision, and more indecision. But you do want price to come back onto structure, and it does look like it's coming back onto the first bit of structure of 195969. But for me at the moment, I want to see a little bit more than what we're getting right now. So just have a look here. There's gaps in the downside as well. So this gap here, this area is probably a better area, 194486. Okay, so that's to buy off. For the short options, at this stage, I'd like to see a pullback onto structure. So, and this would be the best area for me. So that's 196852. If we can get a pullback into that area, that would definitely give us an opportunity to sell this right now. That's kind of it for me today. Not much happening in the markets, but there are a few little opportunities brewing for us. So that's kind of what we should be looking for. Anyway, hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you bright and breezy tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.